The Raiders look to bounce back in Indy. Can the defense keep bringing the heat? Tyree Wilson gives his thoughts. And how can Geno Smith get back to this? We take a deep dive with Raider Nation Radio's Q Myers. And we go into enemy territory with Hall of Famer Dwight Freeney. The Silver and Black Show starts now. Welcome into the Silver and Black Show. I'm Amber Theoharis. Here's what we know. The Raiders show flashes of great things. We saw big plays from the offense against New England, relentless defense against Chicago, but now they need to be the sum of their parts against a 3-1 Colts team who appears to be quite well-rounded. It's time to turn some heads in the AFC, so how do they match up against the Colts? We welcome in Hall of Famer Dwight Freeney. We go into enemy territory to check in with you in the Colts, but it's good to see you, Dwight. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I want to get your opinion on this. Look, I don't think anybody predicted that the Colts would be 3-1 this early. I mean, a lot of people consider them a surprise team. We didn't know what Daniel Jones was going to be.
Yep.
What are they doing well, though, right now that the Raiders will need to figure out?
Well, first of all, they're managing the ball, and there's not many turnovers offensively. And that's basically how you win games in the National Football League. You have all those other pretty stats, touchdowns and all that other stuff and sacks but you just have to make sure that you protect the ball. So one, they're doing a great job with that. And then secondly, they're kind of spraying the ball to multiple players offensively. So it seems as if, Daniel is really in a good place and feeling good and really, in his own world out there, not that we're familiar with, because when he was with the Giants, it wasn't like that. He's kind of comfortable. And as you can see, when you have a guy like Daniel in a system that he actually likes and loves and he actually gravitates to, you can see, what type of things he can do. So I think, having that kind of combination, the defense is staying sturdy. They're not great. I wish there was a little bit more pass rush. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know, but I think if they can kind of get a little bit more rush on defense, continue to kind of spray the ball, to the tight end, to the receivers, and give it to Taylor when you need to. Or, he's a dog too. So I think, for the most part, I think we're right now, knock on wood, trending in the right direction.
Daniel, it's amazing when you leave New York how great your career becomes. Look at Daniel Jones. Look at Saquon Barkley. I mean, here he is in Indy, though, doing well. But then against that Rams front did get to him last week. He was sacked. He threw a couple of picks. What can the Raiders' defensive line do to make him uncomfortable like the Rams did?
Well, it's going to be a tough game. I think, Raiders are very sturdy and defensively, and they get after the quarterback, obviously, Mad Max out there doing his thing. So it's not going to be easy, and obviously we're going to have to, put a lot of attention towards Max. But I feel like, if they spread the ball the way they need to and get rid of the ball the way they need to, they'll be okay. So, what that means is, look, you don't always have to go for the big shot. From time to time, you have to definitely stretch the defense, get those guys to understand that you can go deep, but you have to throw, more intermediate passes, short passes when you're playing against a guy like Max Crosby and the way he comes after quarterbacks.
Max Crosby is he's trying to be one of the greatest to ever do it. You are one of the greatest to ever do it. You have a gold jacket to show it. When you do watch him play, as a fellow pass rusher, what do you see that makes him so good?
Well, I think it's two things. For one, he's relentless and he does not stop. He keeps that motor going. So sometimes, you see some pass rushers only rush the quarterback or rush when it matters, I guess. I think it matters every time, but some guys like, oh, it's first down, let me just take a break and rest up for third down. Now, Crosby, he does not do that. He gets after it no matter what play it is, whether it be a run play, whether it be a pass play, and that's the way the game is supposed to be played. So I think that's the first thing that I see is his relentless just pursuit to the ball, no matter who has it. And I think secondly, he works a lot of different moves. And that's a good thing for pass rushers, especially when you start getting older, because you have to have a plethora of moves that you can go to. Sometimes, you don't have that edge speed rush like you had back when you were 25 or whatever it is. So you're going to have to work your hands. And he's one of the best at working different moves, doing different things to keep that offensive lineman and offensive tackle off balance.
They're going to have to stop the run, though. I mean, he might not even get to rush the passer if Jonathan Taylor, the league-leading rusher, continues to run the ball the way that he has. How, from a defensive, put your defensive coordinator hat on, be Patrick Graham, how do you contain Jonathan Taylor?
Well, I think, obviously you're going to have to commit some more people to the box, right? So you have to do that because the way that Jonathan, he makes people miss in the second level. And it's just like, you sit there and say, okay, well, they have the numbers. They should stop him to like a 3-4, yard game. And then up, there he is. He makes a guy miss. He spins. He does this. He does that. So you're going to have to commit some guys to the box. And, because he's one of those kind of Barry Sanders types of guys where, look, you have him and you stop him to 2 yards or 2 yards, and all of a sudden he breaks a 50-yarder. He's a big play type of back. So I think as long as they commit to stopping the run, which is still the strength of this team, I believe, I think then they have a better chance of winning.
Like you mentioned, though, Daniel Jones has been, spreading it out to quite a few weapons, and one of them is the rookie, the tight end, Tyler Warren. What are you seeing from him early on? How is Shane Steichen using him effectively?
No, I think he's keeping people off balance. I think he's one of those tight ends to where as though, he's too big for a corner and he outruns linebackers, so he's a matchup issue. And if you put a safety on there, he's probably too big for a safety, but too fast for a linebacker. So you have to, I think between blending in the RPO game, running the ball, play action pass, to where as though they have to commit to stopping Jonathan, then you'll have a guy like Tyler Warren to get out open a little bit more often, based on the numbers and what they put in the box and how they like to play defense.
Talking about the Raiders offense a little bit, Geno Smith, he's got to get back on track. He's thrown quite a few interceptions. The Colts secondary, though, if you look at the defense, I think that's the one area that could possibly be exposed. What do you look for in that matchup with Geno's capabilities in the Colts secondary?
No, I mean, Geno's been playing for a while now, and there's a reason why, because he has ability. He has ability to make it happen. I just think when I watch Geno, sometimes he doesn't let the game come to him. He tries to force it. And I think that, he has to be patient and let the game come to him. He can't try to make every throw, just make the right throw. And do that more often, and good things are going to happen. So, if he does that, you know what, he's going to be in every single football game protecting the ball. And like I said in the beginning, that's the most important thing, right? You have to protect the ball for you to have an opportunity to win those games. And look at his boss, Tom Brady, right? Tom was all about protecting the ball. And turnovers, you didn't see many. And that's because he made the right throws. And if that, receiver or tight end isn't open, I'll throw a check down. And if the check down isn't open, I'll throw it in the stand so a fan can catch it.
Exactly. You and I are cut from the same cloth. You value that turnover stat. Your fellow Hall of Famer Eric Allen sits next to me at this desk, and we always say, look at the turnover battle and look at the time of possession. I don't even have to watch the game. Normally, I can tell you who won that game based on that. Offensive line for the Raiders right now, they're missing Colton Miller. when you're missing your left tackle. I just off camera talked to you about, I remember your matchups with Jonathan Ogden from the Ravens back in the day, one of the greatest left tackles to ever do it. If you're a defensive end,
Yes,
like
he
was, if you're a defensive end like Dwight Freeney and you see that their best tackle is out, Stone Forsythe is supposed to get the start there. You know, what can Stone do to try to, be next man up against a very tough Colts defensive line that got after Matt Stafford last week?
Well, I think this. Look, you always have this next man mentality, right? So it's kind of built into the DNA of all players, right? You kind of have to have that, and obviously being a left tackle, there's a lot of pressure on you. You're in the blind side of the quarterback, so you have to make sure you're on point. Now I haven't seen him. I don't know what his ability is, but I'll promise you this: if it gets out of hand, and the Colts start putting pressure on the quarterback, they're going to start helping. And I think they'll have a game plan just in case things get out of hand of chipping and double teaming guys if need be, because obviously he's a backup and he would have been he's not a starter, and he's not a starter for a reason. But that doesn't mean he's a bad player. It just means probably the starter's a lot better than him. So we'll see what happens.
Even with a banged-up O-line, though, the Raiders are going to try to run the rookie Ashton Genty, especially after he put 138 on the ground against the Bears. When you watch Genty, what makes him so dangerous as a young runner?
I mean, I just think that he has, that relentless and that ability just to make people miss and just, just keep on grinding in. And that's what you want to do as a running back, and not every single play is going to be a home run, right? You have to keep on and eventually you end up breaking one.
Thanks a lot. We appreciate you breaking it down for us, and hopefully we'll see you out there soon. Thanks a lot.
All right, you take care.
All right, take care. 2 questions. We just said it. Who steps up at left tackle, and what's happening with Brock Bowers? Both questions I asked Q Myers next.
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you. And so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
Is there something more fabulous? I need something to chase, something to melt this face. I need Las Vegas. It's too much and never enough. Oh, welcome to fabulous. It's spectacular, outrageous, impossible stuff. You'll stop and yell, welcome to fabulous.
How about totally obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one, 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. The world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
The Silver and Black Show is brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights, only at Allegiant.com. Victory Live, connecting the world of live experiences. And by 1800 Tequila, official partner of the Raiders. Taste is everything. Please drink responsibly. Welcome back. The Raiders head to Indy to take on the 3-1 Colts. The question is, can they beat a winning team on the road? Raider Nation Radio's Q Myers is here to help us break it down. Q, always love having you on the show because we can really get into it. We can really dive deep because you're around this team every day. You're at every press conference. And I don't know if you and I have spoken about this offline, but we talk about Pete Carroll a lot and his optimism.
Yeah.
And when he said this week, I know I'm paraphrasing this, he said that he saw nothing but upside watching the running game, and that's what he's always been seeking. You know, this isn't blind optimism that we hear from these first-year head coaches. This is a guy that has seen a lot. So what do you make of his calm and actually the fact that he's like, I think we're going to be good?
I think he's starting to see what he's trying to implement, the plan he's trying to put in place. I think he's starting to see it start to grow and start to come to life, right? And I think that we could all agree the running game on Sunday against the Bears was great, right? They were able to do exactly what they wanted to do. Ashton Jeanty obviously had the big run, but it wasn't just the big runs. It was the fact that they were very effective. Now, the issue is they were very effective to the left side of the offensive line, and now it's compromised without Colton Miller being there. But, you know, it wasn't just Jeanty. Like Raheem Mostert, who for the first time in this season was in action, you saw him be very successful as well, and he's a veteran, and he's very physical when he runs. So there was a lot to like about, okay, now the offensive line is starting to come together. Now the running game is starting to come together. And when the running game and the offensive line come together, that's going to help make Geno Smith that much more effective. Now, we know that Geno had the issues on Sunday with the interceptions, but with that being said, if they could come together all at the same time and look good, you know, running game, passing game, defense, and special teams, this could be a really good team. And this is what he's trying to build. So I do think he saw a lot of good positives from the tape.
And this is why the NFL is so cruel. Right after a game where so many strides were made on the offensive line, Colton Miller goes down. He's on the IR. And you know what? I do have to say, Jackson Powers Johnson really seemed to be kind of the anchor of that line, the heart and soul of the line. Do you feel like he is now the man to take on that leadership role on that line with Colton down?
I'm so glad you asked that because I feel like he has to be, right? I mean, I've been around him enough, and I'm sure you've been around him enough to know his natural abilities and the kind of person he is without trying to fake it or force it. And, you know, leaders, everyone's not built to be a leader, but it just seems like ever since Jackson, even when he was a rookie, had those leadership qualities. Now that Colton Miller goes down, I asked Jackson in the locker room, I said, who's the leader now? That to me, it fits your personality perfectly, but who is the leader? And he paused and, you know, he said, well, that's a really good question. And you know, Amber, I mean, you've been doing this long enough. When people say, you know, that's a really good question, that means they hadn't thought of that, right? And so he kind of paused and said, well, I guess right now we're kind of leading ourselves, but you know, I think that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to see that naturally evolve because he has that leadership quality about himself. And you saw him on Sunday. He was flying around. He was trying to hit anything and everybody. He was tackling on defense when it was a turnover. I mean, he was doing everything that he could. So I think that natural leadership quality that he has is going to be seen and it's going to be needed now with Colton Miller out.
Sometimes you just lead by example. You don't need to make a proclamation that you're the leader, and I think he's doing that.
Right.
What can you tell us about Stone Forsythe? We assume he's going to start at left tackle.
Yeah, he is going to start at left tackle, and he's a guy that, as he told us in the locker room, that, you know, he's been in this system for 3 years. He's very familiar with Pete Carroll. He's very familiar with what they're trying to do because he was there in Seattle. But the only problem with that is he wasn't with Chip Kelly for 3 years, right? So, I mean, he's got the size. He's a veteran. He knows what what his job is supposed to be. But as you saw when he came in, right on that last play when Colton went down on Sunday, I mean, he went one way and Dylan Parham went the other way. So it's the communication. That's where my concern is. I think that Stone will be fine physically. I think he'll be able to eventually get enough reps where he's on the same page, but it's the communication that concerns me. We know that of all the units on a football team, that offensive line's got to be one band, one sound, right? They've all got to be rowing in the same direction or something's going to go wrong. And when he went left and Dylan Parham went right, it left a big gap right there, and the defensive lineman came and knocked down Ashton Jeanty and wasn't able to pick up any yards. So they've got to be on the same page with the communication. That's what they've been working on all week long in practice. So we'll see what it looks like, but as you know, it's going to take reps, more continuity before they're really going to become one solid unit.
Look, it doesn't matter who's out there. Ashton Jeanty needs to keep running the football for this offense to be successful. But he is going against the Colts defensive tackles, Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner, a veteran there. They have been nasty, especially against the run. How are you expecting Chip Kelly to scheme this week to put Ashton in a good situation against those guys?
we might see him more active in the passing game, right? Which I'm okay with because Ashton has shown that he can catch the ball out of the backfield. But I think that you're going to see a lot of quick hitters from Geno. I think you're going to see them trying to get the ball out of his hand as quickly as possible because Stone Forsythe is there at the offensive line, and he's not, the well-oiled machine that Colton Miller was. So I think that they're going to have to, until he gets comfortable, have a lot of quick hitters. I wouldn't be surprised, Amber, if we don't see a heavy dose of Ashton Genty running the ball in the second half as opposed to the first half. Just like I said, trying to get Stone more comfortable with just being out there. They'll probably test him a little bit early, just give him a few runs. But all the successful runs that Ashton had last week were to the left. And I don't know if you want to put that much pressure on Stone immediately to be able to help him pick up 4 or 5 yards of carry. And, we'll see. We'll see what Chip does. But I expect to see a lot of quick hitters early. I would like to see some screen passes as well. The Raiders just, for some reason, don't call screen passes, don't run screen passes, but we know they're very effective. So I think Ashton could do whatever he wants. You get him in space, he's going to make some people miss, and there's going to be some good positive things happen for your offense.
I think you're spot on with that, with the screen passes. I do hope, though, that they're running the ball a lot in the second half because that means they will have the lead, so that'll be good.
Yep.
Genty, no doubt, you're going to see a lot of guys in the box until the passing game picks up again. Because right now, let's face it, Brock Bowers isn't considered a major threat because he's banged up. What is his status? And because we really don't know exactly how much he's hurting out there. He's out there. How crucial is him being able to be seen as a threat to this offense?
Yeah, it's critical. It really is. And he is banged up. You said it perfectly. He's been limited in practice. He's going to be limited again this week, and he's going to go and, he's gutting it out. He's working really hard, and he's still getting some catches. Like he had 5 against the Bears, and that's fine. But he's missing the yak yards. He's not getting really a whole lot of yards after the catch. But, him being out there, like I said, the quick hitters that I expect to see on Sunday against the Colts, I wouldn't be surprised if 2, 3, 4 of them went immediately to Brock just to let the defense know, like, hey, this guy's a stud. And the secondary for the Colts is a little suspect, right? They had Xavier Howard retire midweek. So, that's one thing. They have some questions. They're banged up, too, on the defensive side of things along the secondary. So I think that if you get the ball to Brock early in the game, let it be known that we're not afraid to go to him, right? That'll be the Raiders' best bet if they do that and get Ashton involved in the passing game. And like I said, get Geno comfortable. Because, he's not necessarily 100% comfortable. He's got 7 interceptions. So he's got to settle down. He's got to get comfortable. And that offensive line's got to get comfortable with each other.
Yeah, like you said, the secondary really struggled against the Rams last week. Do you think Geno needs to take more shots downfield and kind of test that secondary early?
I don't have any problem with him taking shots. I don't know if he's going to be able to take them early, though, right? Because, again, I just don't know if Stone's going to be able to hold up that his part of the offensive line so Geno has time to deliver it down the field. I wouldn't mind him taking some shots if available. He loves to take some shots as well, but I also don't want him to put the ball in harm's way, right? We've seen him turn the ball over way too many times, so I want him to really be patient, take what the defense gives you, and then when you feel like you have a shot, okay, go for it. But it's got to be a good calculated risk as opposed to I just trust my guy a little bit more than the other guy, so I'm going to throw it and put the ball in harm's way. He's got to stop turning the ball over, that's for sure.
It's definitely a problem. 7 interceptions and just 6 touchdowns is not a good ratio. But to me, I think we've discussed this on your radio show, it's decision-making and maybe holding the ball a little bit too long. Right now, he's holding it 3.11 seconds. That's almost 4 seconds that you're holding,
Right.
3.11 is not almost 4, but you're holding the ball too long, right? So, sorry, I was told there would be no math. But, what is that what you're seeing as well?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. He's holding the ball. He's not making the decision. And then when he does make the decision, he's so locked in on that receiver. And lately it's been Jacoby Myers that it gives the defense a chance to jump that route. And he can't do that. He tells us all the time at the podium, I got to be more efficient. I got to be smart. I got to make sure that I know I trust my arm. I know what I can do. But, they're showing, they're disguising the defense. A lot of these defenses are running this Tampa 2 on him, and he's getting confused. And it's proven to be correct. So he's got to settle down. He's got to relax. And, again, he's just got to get that ball out of his hands. And then this week it's going to be so critical. He can't hold on to the ball that long because I don't think that offensive line is really going to hold up. Look, this is going to be the 3rd different version of the offensive line in 5 games. That's not a good recipe. That's not what you want. The offensive line is the one that's got to be as solid and consistent as possible. And right now the Raiders have had everything but consistency at that spot.
Let's hit the defense while we have you. Mobile quarterbacks have been a problem. They did better against Caleb Williams until that final drive last week. Should they not underestimate Daniel Jones's legs?
No, definitely not. He can run, right? Patrick Graham told us that he can run, right? And Patrick Graham was with him in New York when he first was drafted by the Giants, so he knows what he's capable of doing, and he can run. We know that he can do that. So, yeah, they've got to be cautious of that. They've got to try to do the best that they can to kind of play that fence defense, and they did that for a really good job against Caleb until, like you said, the end of the game. They just can't allow him to get outside and break contain, because when you break contain, bad things happen for the defense, right? And Daniel Jones is more than capable of picking up plenty of yards on the ground. So, yeah, they've got to be aware of that. They've got to be able to get that pressure. Honestly, for the Raiders defense, the most important aspect of this game is going to be able to stop the run. If they can stop the run or at least slow it down, Jonathan Taylor's leading the league in rushing right now. He's fantastic. If they can stop the run early and make them one-dimensional, and then a guy like Max Crosby and Kuntz and Tyree could pin their ears back and try to get after the quarterback, then that's their best recipe, right? But what I've seen so far from the Colts is they've had a heavy dose of Jonathan Taylor in the second half, meaning what you said earlier about Genty, meaning that, okay, they're ahead, and that's what they want to do is salt out the game with the running game, and they've been able to do that. So the Raiders have to stop the run early. They know that the Colts are going to go heavy play-action pass, and then hopefully the Raiders have the lead, and Jonathan Taylor and company aren't able to do what they've done lately, which is run the ball a lot in the second half.
That would be the best-case scenario. Look, you don't want to ever point out one unit, but to me, special teams, there's no doubt, needs to be improved. Every single game this season, they've had a play or plays that have negatively impacted the game. What is being done to improve special teams across the board? I know you're out there at practices and talking to people.
Yeah, it's not good, right? It's special teams has never really been a problem for the Raiders, and this year all of a sudden it is. And so, Pete Carroll's talked about it like this is not normal for Tom McMahon's crew. They've got to figure out something. I don't know the magic sauce. I don't know the button to push, but they got to figure out something from kick returns they're giving up, from block kicks that they're getting. I mean, it's the special teams has been unspecial for the Raiders. And so whatever they need to work on to figure it out, they need to do. The problem is it's just, and this is for every team across the league, so it's not an excuse for the Raiders, but it's just they're so limited with what they could do. And these new kickoff rules, I just feel like it's been so impacted. And then Big Mike going out was a big deal, too, because he was the protector, right? Jonah Laulu was in there on Sunday against the Bears where Michael Mayer would be. And, well, we saw what happened. It ended up resulting in a blocked field goal. So there's just so many things that are going wrong with the Raiders in that special teams unit. They've really got to clean that up. And, hopefully Dylan Lobby and whoever else is back there, Raheem Mostert, can have some big kick returns because the Raiders are lacking in that as well.
Be great to get a good field position rather than the opponent have the advantage in the field position for one game.
Yes.
Finish the sentence. The Raiders will win if.
The Raiders will win if they can get Ashton Genty around 20 carries, 25 carries in this game, because that means that they're in the game, they're playing the effective way that they want to play, and they're not trying to play catch up. They don't have Geno Smith throwing the ball around the yard trying to catch up. So if Ashton Genty's around 20, 25 carries, I think the Raiders win this game.
All right. Well, Q, we always appreciate your insight. I always feel smarter after I talk to you. So thanks, Q Myers. We appreciate you. We can check you out, Raider Nation Radio, ESPN 920 here in Las Vegas as well. So always good to see you, my friend.
Yes, you too. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Coming up, Tyree Wilson. He is coming into his own. We have a chance to sit down with the third-year defensive player next.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you, and so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
Is there something more fabulous? I need something to chase, something to melt this face. I need Las Vegas. It's too much and never enough. Oh, welcome to fabulous. It's spectacular, outrageous, impossible stuff. You'll stop and yell, welcome to fabulous.
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander. which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
How about totally obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one, 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. The world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
Take the snap, Caleb Williams back to throw again. Pressure, and he's sacked again! Tyree Wilson up the middle with his second sack. Snap on 35, Wilson with pressure up the middle. Drake May gets out of there and he's into a sack. Tyree Wilson rolls him forward at the 27-yard line.
Oh, those quarterbacks don't like to see him coming. We welcome in Tyree Wilson. It's always good to catch up with you. I say this is our once-a-year meeting, but I always look forward to it. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We were just talking about where you're from Texas, and you said I'm from East Texas, right?
Yeah.
That's different from West Texas, but you're still a Texan. What is something you do that is so Texan that, like, it's very specific?
Man, I don't know.
Do you, like, ride horses like Devin White?
No, but I'm gonna get into horses in the off season with him. But probably just drive big trucks. That's real Texan to me.
Oh yeah. Do you actually have like the bull horns on the front, or is that like cliche? No.
No, that's
just
old.
big tires.
That's old school.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know. Look, year 3 now, and we've really gotten to know you. How different is it now for you? It just seems like you're really coming into your own in year 3. What has your mentality been like this year?
Man, just be who I am, no matter where it is on the field. Take the opportunities when I can get them, and then just be there for my teammates, and then make the splash plays when they come.
You say be who I am. Who is that? Like, what do you mean, on the field or off the field? Or?
Man, on the field, just try to be dominant. Just wreak havoc, destroy people, and make plays.
I like that, destroy people. That's a good way to approach it. We have seen you line up all over the defensive line. Were you always versatile with being able to like play on the inside or the outside, or did that have to really develop?
I mean, in college I played a little bit inside, but not like how I am here. But now it's more inside, outside, drop very few. But that was, dropping was a little bit in my bag in college. But playing the 3-tech and rushing inside was not. So end of my first year, I started getting the inside rush, and I took that job on, and try to approach it with the best mindset, and now I love it.
Yeah, it looks like you're super comfortable there. Do you feel like it's very natural?
Yeah, it's very natural.
Yeah, you can tell, as we just saw, you getting all over the quarterbacks. The defensive line really has been a strength for this team. You do have to give all of you guys credit, but Rob Leonard's done a great job as well. Kind of take me through the guys that you line up next to, and what makes you guys so great as a unit.
Man, I feel like everybody just has their own personality. Malk is real quiet, but a dominant pass rusher. Then you got Max. He's always, energetic. He's the voice. I feel like he's the voice of the D-line. And then you got AB. Always gonna do something funny, but he's so technical and so smart. He already knows what's gonna go down before it does. And then you got Tonk, Book, and JJ, and they just big bodies that love to go destroy things on the inside.
One of the things you guys did a great job, and we really saw an adjustment from week 3 to week 4 is stopping the run and really sealing the perimeter run. Was that a big focus coming out of that Commanders game and going into the Bears?
Yeah, we gave up way too many rushing yards, so we came back to practice, and that's our main emphasis for the week is stop the run. But that's not just for that week, it's for every week. I mean, if you stop the run, everybody loves to rush the pass, but not everybody wants to stop the run. So when you take pride in stopping the run, the pass rush just comes easy.
What is the identity of this defense? Do you feel like it's like you guys really want to be known as run stoppers? I mean, that nobody's going to be able to run on you guys. You only gave up 69 rushing yards against the Bears, a team that can run. Man,
I feel like we don't want to just pride ourselves on one thing. The biggest thing Pete said is the effort. We want to be the one that you feel us running to the ball, and not just one guy, but the whole defense going around the ball carrier, and then, you know, take the ball away, whether it be like Max's interception or strip sacks, and then our DBs getting an interception. We just want to be all around defense and be sound.
You guys really did an amazing job, especially giving the ball back on a short field oftentimes. Like in those moments as a defense, what is your mentality? I mean, the results we saw.
Man, it's a no flinch mindset. You can't, you know, be mad or look at what position you are on the field. You just got to go, and you got to make negative yards and not give up any yards.
And you guys did that.
Yeah.
It was impressive. Daniel Jones, though, he can run the ball. It seems like you guys have had a lot of mobile quarterbacks that you're going up against. He's really had a resurgence over there in Indy. They also have some weapons when you look at the offense. What sticks out about this offense when you're watching the film?
Man, you know, he's really came into his own. He's take pride in, you know, being the leader of the offense. And also, they got a great running back over there. He's been explosive runner for many, many years, and you know, you got to respect that. But I feel like you can't give anybody too much respect. Then they got some dynamic receivers, you know, that can make plays. So, you know, I feel like the key to this game is, you know, to destroy the line of scrimmage and then, you know, be able to stop the run.
You know, it's interesting. A team like the Colts, they were not predicted to be contenders in the AFC, but this just shows you never know what a team can be. It feels like the Raiders, we saw so many good things in pieces, right, from the offense and the defense. How encouraging is it that you see these moments, these flashes of great things, but how much focus is it on consistently doing those things?
You know, sometimes, you know, through the season, we, you know, like you said, we got flashes. Like sometimes we start fast, sometimes we finish stronger. We're right there. I feel like we got to be able to play a full, complete game, start to finish, and be able to do that on a multiple week-to-week basis. And then if we do that, we'll be dangerous. How
does Pete Carroll's kind of calm in his faith? It just seems like he's not worried. He's even said to the press, you know, it does take time. There's a lot of new things to this team, including him. But when your leader and your head coach kind of has that, like, we got it kind of mentality, how does that resonate with the team?
I mean, it makes it easy. Knowing Pete, knowing his history, knowing that he's did it before, and, you know, he knows the process. He gives us the process. Like, he don't just have a process and, you know, we follow it. He breaks it down to all the players, and, you know, we respect it, we bought in, and, you know, this ain't the start we want, but, you know, if we keep buying in, I believe in, the team believes in, that it's going to go the direction we want. You can't win the Super Bowl in the first 3 games. You know, you got to, you know, find who we are, find our identity, and just keep going to work every week, and it's going to show up.
Yeah, I think the positive is we see adjustments from week to week,
yes.
And that we see the growth from week to week. Tell me, how do the Raiders leave Indy with a win? What do you guys need to do? What does the defense need to do?
Like I say, we got to, first, I feel like we got to take away the football. Mm-hmm. We got to stop the run, destroy the line of scrimmage, not just offense but defense, and let Genty run the ball like he did last week with Raheem, and then also let Geno sling the ball around to Tuck and Jacoby.
That's a good point. We don't give Raheem enough love, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Raheem did not get enough love for what he did for that run game as well. So I'm excited to see both of them out there again as well. Tyree, thanks so much for being here with us. I feel like we got to think of a nickname for you when you sack the quarterback. Has to do with something with the Texas, like a Mack truck or something. We got to think of some sort of nickname, but I'll work on that.
Yeah.
But thanks for being here with us, and good luck with the horses in the offseason. Can you send pictures?
Yeah, I'll post videos and pictures.
They better be big horses, because they got to hold you guys up. All right, thanks a lot. We
Thanks.
appreciate it. Coming up, run the football, stop the run. Up next, we tell you how the Raiders are stacking up using that formula.
Is there something more fabulous? I need something to chase, something to melt this face. I need Las Vegas. It's too much and never enough. Oh, welcome to fabulous. It's spectacular, outrageous, impossible stuff. You'll stop and yell, welcome to fabulous.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years, guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you, and so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
How about totally obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one? 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. The world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
Raider Nation, it's week 5 in the silver and black. Head to Lucas Oil Stadium for a matchup with the Indianapolis Colts. Here's 3 stats on the run game and defending a dynamic running back that you need to know before kickoff. Number 1, of Ashton Genty's 155 scrimmage yards last week, 138 of them came on the ground. 47 were rushing yards over expected, and 5 of his 21 rushing attempts netted more than 10 yards each. Of Genty's 3 touchdowns in one game, a feat that matches only Bo Jackson's rookie Raiders single-game record in 1987, 2 scores came through the air off of 2 targets, totaling 17 yards, of which 11 were yards after the catch. Number 2, Raheem Mostert added 62 rushing yards against Chicago on just 4 carries, which was a 15.5 yard per attempt average, and 3 of his 4 runs were deemed explosive ones. All Raiders rushers combined for 9 explosive runs, 240 total yards, and an average of 7.3 yards per carry. Number 3, the defense held the Bears to only 69 total rushing yards, allowing only 2 rushes of more than 10 yards and an average of 2.7 yards per carry. And in the first half, the defense allowed 2 rushing yards total. The Rams defense showed the blueprint for slowing down the Colts' dynamic back Jonathan Taylor, holding him to just 76 yards on 17 attempts and 20 total yards on 5 receptions and 0 scores on the day. Raider Nation, what are you tracking and what do you predict will happen? I want to hear your analysis in the comments below.
The Silver and Black Show has been brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, non-stop flights, only at Allegiant.com. And by Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Las Vegas Raiders and the NFL. Time now for one last thing. The first quarter of the season is in the books, and Sunday, we left Allegiant Stadium asking, could the Raiders possibly be a ground and pound team? It's an identity Pete Carroll knows wins Super Bowls.
To have a running back that is a real threat, a running game that's a real threat, allows us so much balance, so much better chance for balance in what you present to your opponent. And that's what I've always been seeking.
The Raiders rushed for 240 yards against the Bears and only gave up 69 on the ground. So the seeds are there, but will it continue to blossom? Take a look at this. Right now, the Raiders have the 13th ranked run defense in the NFL and the 18th ranked rushing attack. And that's with Genty's slow start. But after his $138 on the ground last Sunday, the rookie's number is definitely going to be circled.
Yeah, I mean, some rookies are physical off the bat, but, you know, he's a powerful runner, very strong. Like I said, he doesn't shy away from the contact. And so it's going to be a physical football game on Sunday with him running the football. So we're excited for the challenge, but, yeah, he's just a hell of a player.
If you get him the ball in the perimeter like that, or even when you check it down to him, he's going to make somebody miss.
When somebody's chasing you from behind, they're going to kind of wrap around you and then go down to your legs. So, I mean, you just keep them legs running, they ain't going to be able to take you down. You know?
All right, so that's the ground part. What about the pound part, the defense? All defenses that are great have a defining character. Dick Butkus, Lawrence Taylor, Ray Lewis. The Raiders have Max Crosby, and he commands respect.
Crosby's a hell of a football player.
I think just his motor, how hard he plays, play in and play out.
He's probably the best player that I've ever played against so far in my career.
There isn't a better defensive player in this whole business than Max Crosby.
But Max is only one person, and Sunday, the Raiders will need to show they can run the football and stop the run collectively and then do it week after week. That'll do it for us. It's Raiders Colts live from Lucas Oil Stadium. Kickoff is set for 10 a.m. Pacific. Make sure you catch Raiders Game Day right after the game. I'm Amber Theoharis. Have a great weekend, everyone.